Welcome to the Nikki Rich Show. I'm your host, Miss Nikki Rich, and we have an exciting show for you guys. We have a world champion here today. I'm so honored to be here. We have Mr. Tyree S. Washington Sr. He is not only a world champion, he is a former NFL player and now a newly author. I'm so excited and honored to talk with him. And I want to let you guys know that you can too. We got the chats open in the comments. So you can definitely go to the comments, and you also can be a part by subscribing to our YouTube, Nikki Rich, the number two. Well, I'm excited and here to welcome to the Nikki Rich Show for the first time, Tyree S. Washington Sr. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing good, Nikki. I mean, you look lovely as always. Your red carpet ready. I like that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, you are amazing, a force to be reckoned with. Everybody know your background, also being inducted in the CCAA Hall of Fame. Like I said, former NFL player and world champion. And you are a world champion because you have just recently, created a new book against all odds, the story of a world champion turned his trauma into triumph.
Right.
Wow. That's very powerful right there. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Just that title alone speaks for itself.
Yes. Well, it's amazing. I mean, it's all about, most people look at the end result, but it's all about that journey. And I had a long
It is.
journey with writing this book. And I remember when I first initially started, and it was just there was a lot of doubt there because my book was supposed to come out 15 years ago, but
Mhm.
my writer got sick, and so I was interviewing all these writers all over the country, all over the world, and none of them quite just fit the mold for just writing my book. And so I have a lot of friends out. I have a lot of friends throughout the country, throughout the world that have written their own books, or New York best-selling books, and they just my wife, she was one of my biggest cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Why don't you just write your own book?" She says, "You know your story better than anybody." And so, literally, one day I just sat down on my computer and I just started writing. And then, long story short, it was completed. And I sent it off to get an edit, proofread. They did a proofread on it, sent it to the publisher. And now my book is out. I get the opportunity to plant seeds all over the world because there's somebody out there that is going through the things that I went through in my life. And
Yeah.
they're trying to figure out like how could I overcome it? How could I beat this, how could I try to overcome these issues in my life? And so for me, is that my book is gonna it shares all the things I went through in my life, from murder to being part of the biggest doping scandal in U.S. history. I mean, illness. I mean, it goes on and on. And I know if I can do it, if I can make it, I know anybody can make it. But you got to keep on stepping forward. You can't be in that fetal position. You got to fight that good fight.
You do. And you spoke of you said from the biggest, dopest scandal. To overcome that, that's really huge. Yeah. Just the different things, and also you talk about murder. So much. What made you want to just, pour it all out in this book? What made you want to? Because when we all have a story to tell about
That's
something,
right.
know. So
That's
what I
true.
want to know, because sometimes we feel ashamed or just don't want to even tell it. So what made you want to put your all into this book?
Well, I believe that God gives everybody a gift. He gives
Hmm.
he gives us talents. And for me, is that I went through so much in my life and I overcame so many different things. And I
Hmm.
wanted to be able to inspire, motivate, and give people hope. And I know that I'm not perfect. I mean, there's my coaches always tell me, like when I was a little kid playing Pop Warner football, that practice makes perfect, and practice doesn't make perfect. Practice just makes you better. Anything you do in life just makes you better. And so that's why I wanted this book to be therapeutic for myself, that I can be able to let people know about who the real Tyree S. Washington really is, because my part of my life story was on BBC, TNT, ESPN, Sports Illustrated. I mean, I've been all over the place, and I gave them a snapshot of my life. But my book, Against All Odds, it dives deep and it dives dark into all the things that I've gone through my life, to where I almost took my life. And
Mm.
So that's why I want people to understand that it doesn't really matter who you are. It doesn't really matter if you're rich or poor, you're a celebrity, you're not a celebrity, if you're a supermodel, you're not. That we all go through things, something in life, and so, but the hope that we have to cling to is that people like myself and many others have gone through things in their life and then overcome. That's what we have. That's what we have to hold on to. That's what's going to keep pushing us forward in life. And so that was like that was one of the many reasons. One of the reasons why I wanted to get my book out there because I got to plant that seed of hope. And I mean, in my book, I got Tyree's top ten takeaways for success. So it's not just a story I'm telling. I'm not just saying my story. I'm like, hey, listen, here's some takeaways how you can be successful in life at whatever you want to do. I don't care if you work at Walmart and you want to become the manager, you want to become a supervisor. You can take I have 10 takeaways that you can apply to your life that can be able to help you to be successful. So it relates to anybody and everybody, no matter what race, color, culture, whatever. It doesn't matter.
And I want to say so many people love you, they support you because even when I was saying that you were coming on, announcing to everyone that you're coming on, so many people showed love. They were inboxing me, reposting flyers and everything. So just to have that support behind you, just people, just cheering you on. How does that feel to show that people, love you and support you?
For me, I think it's icing on the cake because I
Mm.
think I think you have to love yourself, like, and because you can have all these things in life, all this
Yes.
material possessions, and all these different accolades, but if you don't love who you are inside, it's like you'll be that salvage car. And so
Hmm.
when you love who you are, and then when everybody else is giving you love and they lifting you up, they sharing your name and talking about you or not, and to their friends and to their families, that's icing on the cake. So everything that I get from social media, I mean, everything I get like on TV or is in a magazine or whatever it may be, it's just icing on the cake for me. And that's what I want people to understand is that we can't get our happiness from things.
Hmm.
We have to truly love who we are inside. And it goes back to like Nikki, what you was talking about being perfect, is that we never gonna be perfect. No matter how many filters, no matter photoshops, we still not gonna be perfect. I mean, I listen, I'm a hot mess. I drop the ball every day. My wife will tell you I'm messing up. But I gotta have that accountability. I gotta say, you know what?
Yes.
Hey, listen, I dropped the ball. This is on me. So how am I gonna make it right? And that's all a part of that. Like I gotta repent, right? I gotta repent. And if we can all do that, I think just be organic and just be original. It's gonna go a long way, and that never goes out of style. Never,
Mm-mm.
it never goes out of style.
No, and shout out to everybody watching. I see we got Greensboro, North Carolina.
Whoa, whoa,
I see we got Wisconsin in the house as
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So to everybody, we are live here with Mr. Tyree S. Washington Sr. He has a new book, Against All Odds. I'm so honored to have you here to talk about it. Now, in this book, and you tell your story. What is your most, I would say, the best part of the book that that's really dear to you?
I think, man, there's so many stories I have,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, for me, I was part of the biggest doping scandal in U.S. history. U.S. history. I lost three
Mm-hmm.
world championship gold medals. I lost my world record. I lost my national title from 1997. I was a rookie coming out and actually won. And so for me to be able to be resilient and to be able to bounce back from that and turn that bad situation to something good by just educating young people and people in general about performance enhancing drugs. I mean, a lot of people have to realize that the Balco scandal, that's what I was a part of. It wreaked havoc. I mean, Marion Jones went down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Tim Montgomery. I mean, there's so many, great athletes, great people. I mean, they just made a bad decision. And and it's like for me just to be able to see that and be like in the takeaway that you have to just maintain your integrity no matter what. It's like
That's right.
long as you give it 100% and you try and you give it your best, and if you get third, fourth, or fifth, you can live with that. You can sleep at night.
You
But when you
can.
go out there and you try to take those shortcuts and take advantage of other people that are working hard, that's when it's going to come back at you like a boomerang. And so I think for me is like that was a huge part of my life because it broke me a lot of ways. I mean, I had to give back these medals. Listen, I mean, you talking about these are world championship gold medals. I mean, my world record, as a click of a button, it's gone. It's history.
Mm-hmm.
It's no more. And so, thank God, I was able to win world titles of my own. I've been to 3 times. I've been the fastest man in the world 3 times in the 400 meters. I mean, and
Mm.
I have asthma. I have asthma bad. I take medication. I take a steroid every day. I want you guys to understand that. I take a steroid every single day for my asthma. All right, and I was battling that throughout my entire career. So
And you
that's
also have created a nonprofit for asthma too.
yeah, well, that's what I'm working on. Right, I'm working on building my team right now. I'm
Mm-hmm.
creating a nonprofit called Athletes First Asthma, which is going to be great. So I'm gonna bring celebs in. My goal is to bring Michael Phelps in,
Mm-hmm.
Jerome Bettis. I mean, just so many different celebrities that will support my cause, because there's a lot of great people out there that suffer from asthma, and I want to be able to educate those young people too, because a lot of times, just like back in the day, many years ago, my grandmother, my mother raised me, and the doctors told me, because I was so sick and with having asthma, that I would never be able to play sports. They said it's never going to happen. And so for me to defy all these odds, and just to, like that's what the title of my book is called, Against All Odds, is to break through those barriers and to keep on pushing forward and
Mm-hmm.
become the fastest man in the world. And the hardest event on the planet Earth is the 400 meters. I
The
mean, the hardest
fastest
event
man.
3 times
That's
with
huge.
asthma. That's huge. So that speaks volume for itself, that I want all these young people, I want people to know in general, don't let somebody tell you you can't do something because you
Mm-hmm.
can't, because they can't do it. Don't ever let somebody tell you that,
And
because what
not
they think
only
is
that, you
impossible.
could do it not one time, but you could do it over and over.
Over and over. You can do it many times, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's different. I mean, there's no cookie cutter to way we do things in life. Is
Yeah.
that what's impossible for you may be very possible for me, and that's what we have to cling on to. And you got to just surround yourself around the right people. You got to have that drive. You got to have that dedication.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be around yes people, and stay positive, because whatever you put out there into in the universe is going to come right back. It's going to come right back at you. And so, I mean, life is unpredictable, and life don't care about anybody. I mean, we gonna check in, we gonna check out, and we ain't taking nothing with us. That's just a given. But in the midst of, like, in the middle of it, that journey, we got to continue to keep learning, and we got to
Yes.
continue, whatever we do learn, is keep passing that baton to people and helping people, because ain't nothing better, as far as having that gratification inside, that joy of just helping somebody that's in need. And it don't have to be monetary, it don't have to be money. It could be like
Mm-hmm.
you help with somebody, connect with somebody else, or it could be that you invite them to a meeting. I mean, there's so many different things to where you can help somebody. So
Yes, and we see the comments are going, as well. So y'all, everybody, this. Thank you for chiming in. We live on YouTube and Facebook right
you
now.
get me.
Remember to subscribe to Nikki Rich, the number two. Now, also, what I want to know too from you, I mean, with all that, and being here in this pandemic, you're able to, still maneuver, grind it out. I mean, how has it been, just having this new book release, creating it and also grinding it out, during this pandemic?
Yeah, I think we all have to be. I mean, we all have to be chameleons, and I'm a chameleon. I mean, my wife will tell you that. I mean, you
Yes.
drop me off in Iraq, Afghanistan. I mean, I'm gonna be maneuvering, doing my thing. I'm gonna be speaking the language. I'm gonna adapt it to the culture, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the way it has to be for all of us. Is that you have to just adapt to the times right now, and whatever your weakness is, plenty of them, is that you have to work on that more and turn that into a strength. And so that's what I've been doing. Is that whatever I'm weak in, I'm like, I just try to flip it so I can get stronger. And so
Mm-hmm.
when it passes, because it's going to pass. It's going to happen. It happened with the Spanish flu, and they got over it. We gonna get over it. But until that happens, I got to just take advantage of the times where just social media, and just keep on networking with people on LinkedIn, whatever it may be, just to get my message out, get my book out there,
Mm-hmm.
just connect with great people. Because I always say, you never know in life who you gonna meet that can change your life.
Yes.
And a lot of people, man, Nikki, they be praying. They be like,
Mm-hmm.
God, send me a man, send me a woman, a husband, a wife, or whatever it may be. Send me this job. And sometimes, like, he ain't on our time, and sometimes he may send it to you in a different form.
A
He may
different form.
Yep, or he may say, or he may put a person in you. He may put an individual in your life, and it may not be the person that you dreamed about, but that person is going to treat you like a king or treat you like a queen, whatever it may be. So we have to be open minded. We can't assume things about people and about just certain things in life, because assumption has ruined businesses, dreams, relationships, marriage. We have to initiate, and we have to just we have it's a numbers game.
Hmm.
That's just the way it is. We got 7.8 billion people on planet Earth. If somebody says no, you got to say next. You got to keep on pushing until you get the right people in your life.
You do. And us being in a pandemic, a lot of people are stressed. And I know you mentioned before that you tried to commit suicide.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
how are you feeling to even get to that point to where, you know, you're feeling that way?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what a lot of times people, they say, they always say, well, I will never ever do something like that,
Mhm.
and or attempt to do something like that. But you have to understand, like, life is not about a cookie cutter, and
Mhm.
people go through different things in life at different stages in life. And so when you get to a point where you're in a dark situation, and there's and you don't forecast any hope being in your life. There's hope does not exist in your present time, and you feel like the best thing to do is just to move on to that next life. And so that's, when you're in that, it's hard sometimes for people to understand that. But if you've been in
Mhm.
your lowest moments and you feel like things are not working out, and you feel like every time you do a 360-degree turn that you're getting hit left and right, is that you want to tap out. It's like just you want to tap out. But thank God I didn't get to the point where I took my life, because I felt like that even though I was at the lowest point of my life and I couldn't go on, that I knew that little bit, that little grain of salt of just faith, I knew it was going to get better, and it did get
Mhm.
better for me. But once you make that decision,
Mhm.
listen, this ain't Fortnite, okay? There ain't no do overs, there ain't no returns. You don't come back. All right, that's it. There's no Lazarus effect where you lying in that box and you're gonna
Mhm.
rise up in 3 days, whatever it may be. It's not gonna happen. So
Mhm.
so that's why we gotta have faith, and we gotta have hope that things are gonna get better. And that's why it goes back to having the right people in your path. Because all these yes people, we all have yes people. We've all had yes people in our life that everything you do, you're always right. I know for a fact I ain't always right. I
Yeah,
know that.
I
I
know
know
that
that.
too. I know I'm not always right,
So
but
I
I
want
will
that.
argue that I am. I will argue you down.
Yeah. But we got to have that constructive criticism. We got to have that
Yes.
constructive criticism, because look, check this out. If somebody truly, truly loves you unconditionally, they're not going to tell you what you want to hear. If
Mm-mm.
they always telling you what you want to hear, they don't love you unconditionally.
No.
And so I don't want those conditional people in my life. I want people that love me unconditional, that's gonna get in my face and tell me, like, no, Tyree, you wrong. You need to check yourself. You need to go apologize, or you need to take a different type of route, whatnot. So
Hmm.
that's what we want, because that's how you're gonna grow in life. If not, you're gonna have those people. You're gonna constantly just be stagnant. You're gonna constantly be stagnant because nobody knows everything in life. And in the good book, in the Bible, it says, lean not to your understanding. Because sometimes what we think is right is not right. That's why we got to seek out advisors. We got to reach out to those lifelines of people that got wisdom and got knowledge, that have been on this earth for a long time. They got, like, you taking the test, and they got the answers for the test. They say, hey, Nick, hey, here it is, right here. Here's the answers. You can follow.
Hmm.
But a lot of times we get prideful, and we prideful. We got an ego and all these different. We catch all these feelings, and so we want to do what we want to do, and then we end up hitting that wall, and then we want to point fingers at somebody else. At the end of the day, and I know for myself, I got to look in the mirror. We all got to look in the mirror.
We do. We all gotta look in the mirror.
Man, I'm on
I
fire.
mean,
Love this. I love this.
yes,
I love
we
giving.
do. And like you speaking it today, you are being, very transparent with us because it's true. Even, within this week I've seen so many people that have lost their lives,
Yes,
from things that's happening, and people not feeling loved, and you don't know what people going through. That's why we always say check on your family, check on your friends, check
yes.
on people. Just text them. You never know what they're going through. And you went through so much, that can be overwhelming for anybody. Like you say, you was in different Sports Illustrated and on these websites, and everybody just coming at you. That is overwhelming. The world, like I said, you're a world champion.
Well, it is overwhelming, Nikki, because when you have, I mean, when you are the fastest man in the world, when you got world
Mm-hmm.
championship gold medals, you go on a red carpet events, you in magazines, you on television, you all the, I'm doing all this stuff. All this stuff is going on in my life.
Yes.
Everybody's tugging at your coattail because they want a piece of you. But the test of it is that what happens when I'm not at that when I'm not at that level anymore, when I retire. That's why a lot of professional athletes have a hard time transitioning out to that civilian world because you ain't walking in a stadium of 100,000 people, 80,000 people anymore. You got reporters and cameras, everybody's snapping shots, and I mean they want the autographs. It's like you come to a point where it's like you on a conveyor belt, and it's like the sand in the hourglass been turned over, and that last drop of sand hit, and your time is up. The stadium lights turn off on you. What are you
Mm-hmm.
gonna do now? You still want, if people truly love you unconditionally, they gonna still be there. And one of the things is like I have David Metzer. He was a he him and Warren Moon. They're co-owners of Sportsman Marketing, and he gave me this advice. He said he was telling about this. He was telling about giving me this advice that a lot of professional athletes, when they're, well, I should say, when these athletes are trying to become professional athletes, they got all these great people around them. They got all the great coaches, and they got the therapists and everybody. But then once they get to the professional level, they get rid of all the great people around them. It's that, as you're going, as you're moving, as you're trying to get to the top, you want to continue to have those great people around you. And when you're at that level, have great people. When you retire, have those great people around you, because the transition is tough. It's tough when you are in something you love, and then all of a sudden somebody tells you your time is up, you got to go. So it's gonna make the transition easier when you have a good solid support system. So I mean, for me, I had to realize that years ago. I had to realize that because I was going through a lot. I went through alcoholism. I mean, there was a lot of stuff I had to deal with. So I
Mm-hmm.
like to just keep it 100 because I'm not perfect, and I know there's, like I said, there's some young kid out there, some young teenager that's going through things in his life. His mom and dad may be on drugs and out of prison. I got family members that's gang banging, and he just like, man, like, what do I do? How do I get out of this? Like, where's the hope at? And there's always somebody there. I always tell these young people, there's always one person there that's willing to help you, and you have to be able to accept them. You have to be able to accept the help because, as the old saying goes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. So you got to
Mm-hmm.
accept that help.
You do. You do. And shout out to everybody watching. We got Xavier DJ Sean Cole. He says major salute from Japan. We got Japan in the house.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I've been on Osaka, been out to Japan,
Mhm.
Tokyo. Got love for Tokyo.
Yes. Now, have you been to Tokyo?
I've been to Tokyo. I've been in Germany. I've been in Russia. I've been in Osaka. I've been to Tokyo. I mean, I've been
Wow.
into Paris. I mean, been all over the place. But
Hmm.
I mean, it goes on and on. Belgium. I mean, all over the place. I've been blessed. That's one thing about track and field is that you have an opportunity to be able to travel the world again and just and experience different cultures, meet different people, and do something you love to do and get paid for it. So I mean, I had a ball for over a decade. I did that. Lived all over the UK. I mean, traveling throughout Asia. I mean, it's just an experience that I'll never forget. And I mean, it's like I look forward to going back over the pond because I have so many friends all over the world that I don't have to go rent a hotel or get a hostel, whatever. I can just go to their flat and I can just stay with them. And that's because of the friendships I built that I built up throughout the years.
Now, that's amazing right there. I mean, that's like, see, I love it. And to anybody out there that's watching right now, we have none other than Tyree S. Washington Sr. He is also, known, like I said, as the fastest man in the world, fastest runner in the world. Also a world champion. He's an author, and y'all seen him, as a former NFL player. And he's talking about his newly book, Against All Odds, that we want everybody to go out there and purchase. I see some of
Get that book.
the people in the comments said they want to go purchase. So
Yeah.
tell us where they can go and purchase.
So you can go to Amazon. You go to Amazon. You go to Barnes and Noble. You can go on my website at www.tyreeswashington.com. Purchase my book. It's there's many different platforms. I mean, a lot of people are purchasing my book from Amazon. I want my book to become a best. I want to become a best-selling author. That's my one of my goals. I'm also working with Christian Turad, who's a famous film director in
Okay.
LA. He created the Hornet's Nest. I mean, he was part of he made the movie The Perfect Game,
Hmm.
and we're talking about doing a Netflix series or a movie about my life right now. So that's been in the works for the last probably like about 3 or 4 months. And so that's one of my goals. I want to be able to get that Netflix series, that movie out, and be able to plant another seed out there in the world, so people can they can see my story, and it can inspire them, it can motivate them, and to keep on pushing forward in life. Because, like I said before, life is going to knock us down to our knees. It doesn't really care about who you are, how much money you have, whatnot, and
Hmm.
how many gold medals you have, or are you playing in the NFL. But we have to be, we get knocked down, we have to be willing to get back up. We got to get back up. We got to stand tall. We got to keep taking those baby steps to keep pushing forward till we can get to our destination. And that's my that's my message for for my life. It's my message for that's in my book with many other takeaways. But I'm super stoked. I'm super stoked. I'm excited because I can just keep on sharing. I can keep on sharing my book.
Yes, and I am so stoked, for you because it's not easy, just writing a book. People think, "Oh, I'm gonna write it, put it out." Da, da, da. It takes time. It takes time. It's not easy at all, but you did it. We here now. It's time. Y'all can go purchase. Everybody out
Yes,
there, connect with Tyree. And I'm like I said, I'm honored to have you on today, and it's so much more in store for you. Is
yes.
there any messages or last words you would like to share with us today?
Yeah, this always when I'm because I speak a lot because I'm a speaker, so I speak all over the country,
That's
all over the
good.
world, and I talk about overcoming adversity. You can go to my website, like I said, for at www.tyreeswashington.com and see all my testimonies. And I was speaking at the Under Armour House in Baltimore, Maryland, to all these educators, ADs, high schools, colleges, and but this is what I want to leave with everybody is this right here, is that we all have a destiny,
Hmm.
right? And my coach told me this. He gave me this quote many years ago. My coach is from Nigeria, and a lot of people don't know I'm part Nigerian, and
Oh, I didn't know
and
that.
yes, yeah, I'm part Nigerian, and so he said, destiny can be delayed but not denied. Right. And what that means is a powerful quote is that we all have that destiny, just like I was saying. And throughout life, we're going to experience so many different things that's going to come in, that's going to try to stop us from getting towards our destiny. I mean, it's going to slow us down from getting to our destiny, but it'll never stop us from getting to our destiny. So keep on pushing forward, and remember, it's like whatever you value is what you're going to put your time into. So if you value your life, you value your career, or whatever it may be, it's what you need to put more time into. And you got
Yes.
to think of all these great individuals out there that you look about Tyler. You think about Tyler Perry. He loses tax return checks to rent out a theater, and the 20 people in the audience were his family and his friends, but he kept on pushing. And
Yes.
look at Tyler Perry now. Think about Steve Harvey. He had a bad stuttering problem, bad. The teacher told him he ain't never gonna be on television. He
Mm-mm.
kept on, he kept on pushing forward. So look what he's doing now. He's hosting Family Feud. All right. So I mean, it goes on and on just with people that have done so phenomenal things. Masterpiece, selling CDs on the back of his car. I mean, it's just building that empire. So it's we have to look. If you want to be successful, is look at all these other people that are successful right now and mimic them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at Oprah, Nikki. I'll be watching you. I'll be checking you out. I mean,
Yes.
Oprah's amazing. I mean, I've
Yes.
never met her. I want to meet her one day, just have a conversation. But is it when you hang around people that are already successful, that are already great, I mean, are doing good things, you are going to do those good things. You're going to do those great
Amen.
things. You're successful. So keep on pushing and never give up. And remember, life is not about no fallacies that just because somebody else is doing bad or if you've done bad for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that you can flip it and do something. You can flip it and do something great. It doesn't mean you can't do something great. So
Yes.
keep on pushing.
Well,
Keep on
thank
keeping
you.
on.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I enjoyed you today. Much love to you. Thank you for being our featured guest. And we want everybody to go to Amazon. Also, he gave out his info to purchase as well. But thank you for being our
Thank
guest.
you, Nikki. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure as always. And keep grinding yourself. You're doing some amazing things. I know
Thank
you got
you.
bigger things to come, and love seeing all like the billboards and everything. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, my book is you too. It's like this
Yeah.
book is you. It's all of us. It's all of
Yes.
us. I mean, but that's what it is.
Well, thank you so much. Have a
Thank
good
you.
one.
Peace out, y'all. Namaste.
Yes.